Hello again and welcome to Ndudu by Fafa.
Hello everyone, my name is Fafa Gilbert and welcome to my home cooking channel in Ndudu by Fafa. Today on the menu, I've actually got this beautiful leg of lamb that I'm going to marinate it in special spices, of course. And I'm going to slow cook it. It's going to break off that bone. So that each mouthful that you do enjoy and have is just going to be packed with flavors. And you know what, I just want you to fall in love with it, just the same as I fell in love with making my dish. So now let's start cooking. Yeah, so here I do have my lamb, which is about 1.5 kilograms, and this would actually serve, I'd say, about 10 people, because I'm going to be making the Yorkshire pudding as well. And you know, I'm going to add my own little shenanigans, as I always do, and I hope you enjoy it. So now I'm going to talk about the spices. I've got fenugreek, I've got cumin, paprika, grains of paradise or alligator peppers, nutmeg, cloves. I've got mace, which is actually the outer layer of the nutmeg, cinnamon. I've also got chili peppers, turmeric, cardamom, long peppers. I've got my black peppercorn, coriander seeds, and aniseed. So this is like my indulgent Ras El Hanout. So these are all going to be blended and I'm going to be marinating my beautiful lamb in. Oh, this is just going to be delicious. What do you think? So to start this off, I'm actually going to be toasting my spices. It's just to release the oils. I'll be toasting it just for about 30 seconds and that'll be great. I mean, alternatively, you can also get your Ras El Hanout from the shops. It's readily available in most supermarkets or your local grocers, so do check it out. So just toasted this beautifully just for 30 seconds and you can just see it's lovely and smoky already. This is so aromatic, and if you can actually just smell this house right now, you'd be like, oh. But what I like about this is when you actually make this, you can actually reserve the rest. Now, if you do want to reserve the rest, it's best to place it in the freezer. So as and when you need it or a recipe does require it, or you just toast it lightly and release the oil. The reason why I actually leave it in the freezer is to allow it to retain its freshness and also the flavor is kept in. So as I said, as and when your recipe requires it, just warm it up and the oils will be released again and you can reuse it. So what I do have here is my ex-coffee grinder, which I've ended up using as my spice blender. So I'm just going to add everything to it and it's nice and warm and blend everything into that beautiful powdery form. This is going to be incredible and delicious. Now, as I said earlier, you can actually buy your Ras El Hanout from your local grocers or supermarket. But it's something else when you actually make it. It's just beautiful. It's just this incredible flavor that you get and it's fresh and it's something that you made. So yes, if you can, that'd be great. See this. Oh, that's just incredible. So all I'm doing now is massaging my spice rub into the crevices of this beautiful leg of lamb. This is just incredible. And you can just see that flavor. Now, you can marinate this for a minimum of 3 hours, or better still, you marinate it overnight. But yes, I'm actually just gonna cling film it, put it in the fridge for a couple of hours, and then we will continue.
So after 3 hours in the fridge, take your lamb out and bring it to room temperature. At this point, I'm actually going to add my salt. The reason why I do exclude my salt from when I'm marinating it is to avoid the meat getting dry, because salt actually extracts moisture from meat. So whenever you're marinating your meat, it's best to actually leave the salt out, and just when you're about to grill it or cook it, that's when you do include the salt. So I'm now going to add my homemade chicken stock, and you can see that was like an organic chicken. It was quite fatty, so you can just see that. Now the reason why I've actually opted for the chicken stock is it's light, and because the spices that I've used in marinating this lamb, they're quite strong in a way, so you don't want to actually add anything that is going to be stronger. So the chicken stock works perfectly because it's lighter and it's fresh as well, so it just adds a different dimension to the dish. So yes, you add that to it, and at this point you preheat your oven to 180 degrees. I'm going to cook this lamb at 180 degrees for 3 hours, and then I'm going to reduce the heat to 160 degrees and cook it for the last hour. Cover your meat with a foil, and that would actually trap in the steam. This would allow your meat to cook perfectly, and you would end up with a beautiful moist lamb. At this point, my lamb is ready to go in the oven.
So today with my lamb, I'm actually going to be serving it with some mashed yam. Now yam is almost the same as potatoes, but it's sweeter and a little denser. It has a harder outer shell as compared to potatoes, so it has to be peeled. You can get this in most African shops or also Asian shops, because they also do enjoy it. And that's what it looks like. It's just stunning, actually. You can boil it, steam it, roast it, just the same as you would potatoes. So yes, this would really work perfectly with a lamb. So I will boil it, and once it's boiled, I'll mash it, mix some butter with it, and it's just going to be delicious. And then I'm going to add that little bit of spring onions for that crunch. So yes. So I've just washed my yam pieces, and I've just placed it in the saucepan. I'm just going to add some water. So you're going to cover the water till about 2 centimeters above the yam and allow it to boil. And I like to boil it from cold. Reason is because it means that it regulates the temperature. It all cooks at the same temperature as well. So it's cooked evenly, and it's just perfect because I need this moist and fluffy and just perfect really. So once it starts to boil, then I'll add a little bit of salt. And we're done.
So boil your yam for about 10 to 12 minutes. And the way to check if your yam is cooked is if you insert a fork that goes through without any restrictions, then you know that your yam is cooked. This shouldn't take more than 10 to 12 minutes. So as you can see here, I've taken a piece of the yam out, and that's it. It's so easy when it just goes through. And when I actually just used the fork to actually just mash it, it was just perfect. That's when you know that it's actually cooked. I think I was enjoying using the fork in mashing my yam. Now, if you do have any of the fanciful gadgets like your potato ricer, you can use that. I mean, back home in Ghana, where I'm from, we do mash the yam in the earthen clay pot called the asanka, which you'd have seen me mashing some few things in one of my previous videos. So at this point, I'm actually going to add some butter, and the butter obviously is going to make it creamy, and it also adds moisture. Now, when I did drain the water off the yam, I reserved 75 milliliters of it because yam has a tendency of being dry, and I want my mash to be moist. I also want it to be fluffy, and I want it to be tasty. So I've got that 75 milliliters of the yam water in the saucepan, and now I'm adding the mash to it. So I'm just going to mash everything together till I have that beautiful silky consistency that I do require for my mash. So ensure that your heat is actually on its lowest setting, because we're using just the residual heat to mash everything and to cook everything through, because everything is cooked, but it just gives it that, it makes it easier for you to mash whilst it's actually on a very low heat. You don't want it burning or anything of that sort. At this point, if you choose to actually add some nutmeg, you can, but I think that'll be just overindulgent. So after 2 minutes, take your yam mash off the heat and add your spring onions. Now the inclusion of the spring onions, it just gives it this beautiful texture and it gives it this added crunch. So you've got your smooth mash and then you bite into this freshness of the spring onions, and it's just beautiful, especially with the lamb as well. Now this is the part 1 of the roast dinner because it's quite an extensive video. So the part 2 will be the concluding part of this beautiful recipe. So it would include the lamb coming out, the grilled carrots, the broccoli, the Yorkshire pudding as well. Of course, I've not forgotten that. Also the gravy. So yes, it's all the trimmings are going to come out to play. So you do not want to miss anything. If you haven't subscribed yet, you need to click that subscribe button now, and also click that notification button so you're notified when the second part also comes through. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you have, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment below, like the video, share with your family and friends. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter as Ndudu by Fafa.